Shalom. I'm Love herself. I'm here with Love himself, and he has a message he would like to share with the world. This particular message is called, he has titled it, "The World is Flat? Who says?" And so I wrote his words down, and I'm going to read them off, and you're going to hear paper as I toss and turn the pages in the paper. Okay, it goes like this. He says, "Let me start off by saying, this is God. My name is Love. Some call me Yahweh, which means pops in Hebrew. The Hebrew we speak in heaven, not the one down here," said the Lord Yahweh. Anyway, not to get off the subject, because I know some of you all are curious, and my sons who write those books about my earth are just guessing. No one was there at the time but me and Babe here, so I should know, said the Lord God Yahweh. I went into my lab. I had already made several planets before, so it's just that this time, it needed to house individuals. Later, though, after inventing it, it eventually housed my criminals from home. So I'm acquainted with Earth because I made it, said the Lord God Yahweh. Like I said, my other planets all bear similarity, but Earth, since I needed it to be closer to my kingdom, it was going to be my last inventions for a while. Since all inventions I was pleased with and all necessities were formed, I made it different. Each world was round and gravity was in place to hold everybody down, no falling off of it. My babies, the last bunch to house, they would be the ones to occupy Earth from the beginning. So I called it a safe haven. My sun was fixed above it. I was through with that, said the Lord. My moon, too, when I was done. My oceans, they could leak if I had not glued the bottom tightly enough to prevent it. So all craters had to be filled, no holes, nowhere. So I had to be exactly cautious since it had to be livable. Now the flatness. There's a degree of area in a radius that has to be acknowledged, known, in order to know the distance of travel that one might take. So with that being said, I had to compass my areas mathematically, multiplying and dividing soil that would cover some of my substances that I used to secure a bottom, plus one that wouldn't fall either, upon the heads of my other planets and my other children/adults who migrated there to my other planets, continents. Because you see, Earth has no stilts. It's not up on stilts, nor poles. It has to stand alone. But those families on planets of mine beneath it must feel secure at knowing that they are safe as it hovers above. So they say it's flat, but it is not, said the Lord God Yahweh, because if it were square, the edges would be dangerous. Cars wouldn't be able to travel carefully, even with gravity, because the edges would be roughly felt, like bumpers, while trying to get to the bottom of the rugged corners. Lots of bending for boats, ships, automobiles, going from America to Japan, while one's on top and the other countries on the bottom. It would be ludicrous to travel, said the Lord Yahweh. To travel with such fear, too. I had to think ahead in advance for y'all's safety. And if there was no traveling involved, the corners and the edges would eventually be frightening to a walker who's out for an evening stroll. That's if the earth was square, flat, and square. As my gravity holds you all intact and you're out for an evening stroll. Because he and she would worry about slipping off, since the square parts could be seen at some points. The flatness is interrupted because the rotor head goes downward in order to get to the other side, the underside. Then some of y'all would worry about y'all's relationship with me, said God Almighty, Yahweh, wondering if I'd help you survive it. Then, as you bend downward to get to the bottom side of the square, you would know that you have left the flat upper side. And so now you're walking the wall side of it like Spider-Man. But some worried whether if I'd let you go. In other words, tumbling head first away from your destiny. Babe says that you'd be focused and aware that you're walking on a square. So you could adapt, but it would be difficult. So to make it easy, I just designed Earth to be round for those reasons. Since gravity pulls you to Earth's surface, please go to the next part.